This video is going to be about the introduction chapter to Manifesto by Peter McLoughlin and Tommy Robinson. This is more like a reference book, really. It's written very well, but you can tell that obviously it's just been finished a couple of months ago, and I wouldn't say on criticism it's been rushed. You can read it very well. It's got a lot of great quotes regarding a lot of things, but I just highlighted some things that might be interesting to us all, really, and the fight for free speech and democracy and that type of thing. But in this book, it's basically exposing the plans of the elite, not just for Britain, but I think for other countries. And the first one I've got highlighted here, page 10. It's regarding to fascist Britain. It's basically exposing that it has been fascist for a long number of years, talking about maybe 100 years or so. But it's really, really kept. It's not a public thing. You got to look at the fruit of the tree, as it were. And this is what it's really exposing, or the elephant in the room it's really talking about. This is about the C, the jab, which I can't say on my channel because I've had many videos deleted from my channel if I say this word, so I'm not one of the lucky ones that can say that word. Just says, in the case of network of informants in fascist Britain, it's not reliably fascist enough, we are told. Secretive C-era spy agency are brought in again to monitor social media during riots. Yes, you are a threat to be spied upon. During C, when the fascist state locked you in your home and coerced you into taking genetic engineering disguised as a jab. I daren't say even the word, the V word, but you know basically what that is. Then on page 14, in 2017, London's Muslim mayor was saying that bomb attacks are just part and parcel of life in a big city. But by August 2024, he was saying riots mean I am not safe as a Muslim. So that's the double standards that Tommy Robinson is talking about. You know, it's all right when Muslims are attacking everybody else. You know, it's just is sort of palmed off as, you know, an Asian gang or whatever else. You know, they don't really tell you what's going on, exactly what's going on. And then when the native people stand up and they're just sick and tired of people getting raped and murdered, then, you know, they're just called far right, you know. This is the Muslim mayor in London. So the next page talks about Sir Oswald Mosley created the British Union of Fascists in 1932. The 15 years leading up to 1932, he was the darling of the Conservative Party, Labour Party, Liberal Party. Each party wanted him to join them, an elected lawmaker. The fascist policies which he put forward 35 years earlier, he said he'd always been left-wing, that the policies he'd advocated were now the centre ground of British politics. So it's just showing you that for a long time, Britain's always been leftist, okay? And as we showed in a previous video, the fact is that Adolf Hitler is not far right. He was actually, National Socialism is leftism. It's not far left, but it is leftism. In the Communist Manifesto, it says that they will dethrone Jesus Christ and enthrone Satan. It's quite a shock to some people when they read the Communist Manifesto that it's spiritual connotations. But they are very much Satanists who are involved with communism. It's not the fact that communism is wrong as a system, because the first century church used it. Jesus Christ used it, the apostles used it, but they were men of God. But the fascist elite today and the communist elite are not men of God. They're followers of Satan. Now, on page 28, states, since at least 1945, the elite have collectively worked to conceal from the public that Hitler was left-wing and not right-wing. Okay, so again, there's a lot more information about this. And then again, National Socialism was far right rather than just less far left than Stalinism. Just like the elite tell you that Muhammad's religion of war and slavery is a religion of peace. So again, this is the new fascism, as it were. That's what it is. It's just disguised as, it's just peaceful. It's all right just to go and stab people and murder people, and if anybody reacts, they're racist or far right or whatever they want to call you. Page 30. But don't expect the leftist sociologists to study why hypocrites profess socialism whilst living the life of flashy capitalists. Their hypocrisy shows that their leftism is virtue signalling. Their true commitment is to something else: envy, personal enrichment, and dishonesty. So, yeah. While there's not too many, there is a few arguments for leftism, which obviously they try to sell people all the time. But the ones who are benefiting the most, you really got to ask yourself: is it you or is it them? And communism is just the elite. It's the less than 1% of people who are benefiting. If they were Christians, the people would offer up land, sell land, and it would be distributed fairly. But in the satanic system, land and things and possessions are just taken from people, and people are put in jail or murdered, into the gulag or whatever else. We're not far off that. In fact, we're basically been on that for quite a while in the UK, especially since the new government came to power. The next page, it says, in fact, the news media almost never mention that these men following Muhammad's commands to kill the unbelievers wanted to be known by their Islamic names. So this is about dead naming. And a lot of the terrorists in this country, they used their previous names before they were Muslims. They never actually used their Muslim name. And these people actually complain that the media is using their old names. They want to be known as Muhammad so-and-so or whatever else, that their new name is in the religion of peace, which they've been instructed to murder people in that religion. Okay, which Tommy Robinson's obviously knows a lot about, because obviously his family were mostly inducted and forced into Islam. That's his history. A lot of people don't actually realize that this is a lifelong thing that he's been in. A lot of us don't come from Muslim areas, but he did, and his whole family just seemed to be absorbed into it, and he refused to join it. You just imagine what you're offered a lot of things in Islam, and again, it's not really the religion that's wrong. It's just the spirit behind the religion and the application of it, and the fact they just want to kill everybody else, or they want to subjugate everybody else. I mean, it's very elitist. Of course, we've discussed it in previous videos. We know where it comes from. It's a long-standing plan going back to Albert Pike and Mussolini. Planned all this back in the 1800s. Page 33. So the BBC claims it channels the interest of the public. The elite pretend they have godlike knowledge of our interests. This is the BBC. That they say that they reflect the people of the United Kingdom, but meanwhile they just put a lot of propaganda to shape people's thinking, and to hide the fact that what they actually are is pretty much fully communist. Because unless you obey them and get their subscription, they put you in jail. That's just communism. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how else to describe that. How else do you describe that? It's just like Stalinist Russia. Unless you get your little ticket or whatever else, they'll take you away. They'll put you in jail. They'll fine you. They'll destroy your life. It's communism. You know, at least it's socialism. It's at least that. But I think we're beyond that now. Page 35. There are so many of them. They can run a conference and produce a newsletter on their niche market. How many right-wing bookshops are there in the UK? How many right-wing bookshops do you think there are in the UK? So this is about the news media. How many left-wing bookshops are there? There are over 50 radical leftist bookshops in the UK. Okay, how many right-wing radical bookshops do you think there are in the UK? Well, there are actually zero. There are none. And yet the news media keep talking about the far right and, everybody's a Nazi. Everybody just puts on Nazi uniforms and walks up and down like Adolf Hitler every day, according to the news media. People are just watching this and they're looking around them thinking, I don't see this. I'm not experiencing this because it's a damn lie. Substituting conservative bookshop also returns no results. So there's not even any conservative bookshops. It just blows your mind. See, like, conservatives are meant to be right wing, but they have actually been soft left wing for 70 whatever years since about the Second World War. I think the Margaret Thatcher government was the only one that could be described as being right wing, which they did basically everything they could for the national interests of Britain. Which, yes, I mean, a lot of people had to lose their jobs, but because they were losing money, because a lot of them were subsidised by the state. But you just look at what's going on now in Scotland. The refinery, the oldest refinery in the world, I think, in Scotland, is looking a bit closing down because it's losing something like £300 million a month or something ridiculous, something incredible like that, because the government isn't helping them, do anything. They're meant to be left wing. They're meant to help the big businesses, but even they're not helping them. You just got to look at that and see, look, there's probably communist governments that are actually more efficient than the British government today. There's like, do you know what I mean? There's communist governments in the past that have been more efficient than the actual government we see just now, and that's just facts. Because people are losing their livelihood, their jobs, farmers are being attacked. It's just everywhere you look, this government just wants to implement its satanic. It's obviously satanic influences. It really hates Christians. You can see that. It just wants to lock innocent people up, and that's what's happening in the UK. So let's pray for Tommy Robinson. Let's keep praying for him. And let's keep praying for the freedom of the British people to stand up against tyranny and oppression.